Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tuck It Up with Café Cultura. It's your girl Jayla, and of course, bringing you our favorite founders, all the things we find along our journey in tech. And today we have one of these really awesome origin stories that I'm really excited to share with you guys. And our guest today is Ajani Amiri. AJ, how are you?
Doing great. How are you doing, Jayla?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited because we almost got caught up off air talking about all of this amazing things. So I was like, wait, let me start recording because you have such a great story um,
Thank you.
from beginning to present. Because I don't want to say end because there's still so much to go with the story.
Mhm.
But tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and let's start there.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. So my name is Ajani, as Jayla has said. I'm a founder. Began my career in DC. I went to undergrad at Howard University, and was, just looking to be a filmmaker, looking to be a writer. But I didn't really have a way in necessarily, so I spent most of my days just kind of cold calling people and like literally from like freshman year, just calling everyone that had ever inspired me, from like the big Disney films like Lion King or big DreamWorks films, like, because I was always a big fan of animation, Japanese to Korean to American, throughout the years. So I just, made a bunch of friends and mentors and folks that had really kind of framed, for me, like what the future of my potential career could be. And they all really, I think it was the first time that a lot of them had had someone just kind of, reach out and say like, I want to learn from you, like, and much to my surprise, they were willing to read everything that I shared with them, and I still talk with all of them today. And then a few of those people ended up just being producers that
I
were.
I'm sorry. I just think it's you say it so casually and so calm because you think of it, and these are companies, especially as minorities, people of color, first generation immigrants,
Mhm.
um, that you dream of.
Yes.
Like, you dream of it, you see it, and you're like, I wonder how that works.
Yeah.
But you made it happen, and you're so casual about it. You're just like, yeah, I just called everybody, and you know, but I'm sure that was a lot of like hours and hard work and dedication and free time, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly thankful to just, my family that they were able to kind of just help me n- have the time to just kind of all day just kind of do that. I wasn't really like I didn't have like a side job in college, so my I kind of made it my job to just meet all of my heroes pretty much. Um, and they ended up saying, uh, we think you'll do really well in this industry. And this is the time I was maybe a junior in college at this time. So
Wow.
I had a few projects that I had written as novels in like high school, and I had kind of been just kind of working on them throughout college. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make these TV shows, just try to do like an adult like anime type of thing. And then ended up in undergrad just through these cold calls. I sold my first project to Hulu and Disney, and started working with Fox. And I ended up just kind of connecting with the Smith family, like Will and Jada, and they were huge heroes of mine as well. And they put me on in the position to be able to bring these projects to life and get introduced to folks. So I ended up just kind of working with a lot of different folks and continuing to build that network in
Yeah.
animation, in gaming, and interactive media, VR, AR, XR type of stuff. And I think things were going really well for a long time, and developed a lot of different projects. And I started to see a change in the industry, um, around 2022, I would say. Streaming was in the middle of a war in 2020 and 2021, where Disney Plus erupted and HBO Max, and everyone was trying to get at Netflix, because for a long time Netflix was the only uh, guy in the game, and now everyone's trying to buy up a lot of different content to be able to compete. Unfortunately for them and for us, it wasn't as profitable as they thought. So they had overbought. Um, so now, there was folks that who were directors and writers on like the biggest animated shows that I had gotten to know, that I just saw lose all of their projects.
Wow.
Things that were kind of you know for sure deals ended up not being. And then that was the first wave. And I just saw a lot of people in what we call development hell
Yep.
stay there, and things never get actually made. And then I saw mentors of mine, a lot of the folks that I had spent time getting to know, lose their jobs, and peers and friends that were very talented people that have been working for up to like 30 years in the industry. And this was across all the industries from gaming to animation. Uh,
Yeah.
and they, were now no longer inside of the big media infrastructure that they had, found a lot of solace in, and, career upward trajectory, so, and a lot of them had really great ideas, as well, that they wanted to write and do that they didn't really have time to do when they were working full time. So, I just started to think like, maybe we don't necessarily need the studios. Maybe there's a way for us all to, just go straight to consumer, and make what's in our mind come to reality. So that's kind of like what made me start looking towards AI and seeing like, I guess, what the future holds for all of us if we choose to embrace rather than run away and kind of close our eyes.
So now you go from this career, you have this career.
Hmm.
Now you have to, in the chaos also of the pandemic,
Hmm.
in a way pivot, right? Now you had to switch kind of the navigation of everything. After you made that switch, started kind of getting into AI, or was there like a specific moment that you were like, man, I really want to learn more about this or be a part of this? Or you saw that, like sometimes like that light bulb, that goes
Yeah.
over your head.
Yep.
Was there any pivotal moment of that? Or was it kind of like a buildup of like, this is the future. I already see it coming.
Mm. Well, it started with a lot of apprehension for me because, we were in the middle of the writer's strike, and everyone that I knew hated AI, and we were all very
Yeah.
skeptical, right? And I think everyone had a reason to be, and still do. We had titans in the industry that were saying that they foresaw 90% of jobs, you know, going away to AI within like the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that was probably an overestimation, but the fear was real, But as I was pivoting towards a lot of different projects, I was thinking that I needed to at least see what the whole hubbub was about. So I started with Midjourney, and started to develop pitch decks that were very like hyper realistic, and because I was pivoting towards live action as well, and I was like, wow, like these I can really show my vision like completely, you know,
Yeah.
with these image generation tools. And then from there, I started just to kind of use ChatGPT to brainstorm, not to write anything, but to just like, talk through my ideas.
Right.
And it was probably the coolest thing ever that I had encountered creatively. But I was, just kind of talking with myself for like hours, and I was just like, wow, like, you know,
The only time it's okay to talk to yourself, right?
right. And I was like, okay, all right. So, and then I think that's what a lot of us did, because, ask the same group of friends that I have 3 years ago what they thought about AI. It's like, absolutely not. Now it's like, you know, we're all using it secretly. We're all,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So I think it was a perfect time, I think, uh, for me, to kind of figure out how we could really just take take what AI is now for creatives and really see what's next, especially within like the next 5 years. There's a lot of startups that have been building out over the last 2 years that are
Right.
specifically about trying to get folks in the media industry to embrace AI and really expand what they're doing, to do it
Absolutely.
cheaper, more efficiently, effectively. Because the thing is, a lot of these studios that are buying things now, they literally can't buy anything that's not like a an old IP, or something that already has a really huge audience. So there's a lot of great ideas that got through the door a few years ago that are not going to be able to get through the door now because they're original properties. And they might not have millions of followers already on YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, but I also have friends who do live action skits that are, you know, getting seen. And I've had a few people that I've met over the last few months that are, doing a lot of stuff that's just direct to consumer. And folks are getting deals. And, I think it's really important for artists to be able to create and build an audience for themselves that they can use to, uh, just promote their own original IPs and make a living for themselves, um, and also interact and distribute their work through the big boys, like a Disney or Warner Brothers. So the difficult part about that is animators can't do that because
Mm.
for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, it takes like 2 weeks to really do something,
Yeah.
really well. And it takes thousands upon thousands of dollars to create anything, even, minor quality,
Yeah.
even with on like a strat budget. So, with AI, I was thinking, I'm sure that there's a way forward for us to be able to just work better and quicker and um, cheaper. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, those are the goals, right? Like that's what you think of like as an easy tool to help, budget friendly and all of those things.
right.
At least to get the ball rolling, I feel like, a lot of
Mhm.
people have been using it as such. I think that we are super behind with the AI technology,
Yep.
compared to like, Hong Kong and
Mhm.
Japan and all of the, that side of the world.
Mhm.
But we have so much more to come, and I'm glad that we're finding our own footprint in it,
Mhm.
because that creates a different set of innovators.
Yeah.
Um, which I guess leads me to my next question is, so you go from animation to all of these major companies, and to having this tickle, the AI tickle I call it. um and then how did your company get founded, and how did you start with that? Tell
Mm.
us a little bit about your company and where it started.
Sure, sure. Well, I think the real origin of it was just a few artists of mine that I work with on a lot of the projects that we're developing. We wanted to do a lot of proof of concepts. We wanted to make sure that there was very little to say no to when we tried to go out and sell. And and there was a there was a need specifically for us as creators to really, make it make it happen, because like without developing the technology or exploring the technology in general, we would not be able to actually bring our projects to life. Because we just don't have all the money in the world to do it. And I think, it made me think of a lot of different companies, like a Pixar, for example, or a Lucasfilm, that was really about artists at the end of the day creating um, technology to tell their stories. They didn't create technology to make money or to kind of create some sort of innovation that was separate from art. It was for the purpose of their storytelling. Um, and then that just got me to start thinking more about um, how technology and storytelling can kind of come together in a big way, now that I think a lot of artists have moved beyond the scrutiny of AI, and it's more curiosity now. And everyone that I talked to, I talked to, I think, close to 100 people, and everyone was very open to the idea of, a creative suite, a new plug-in software that can really help them learn how to utilize AI, that can help them brainstorm and get access to a lot of the tools that are already out there, and kind of put them all into um, one tool. Because there's a lot of really great companies, a lot of great startups that
Yeah.
might not have a lot of funding right now, that are thinking in the same way that I am, and they're creating a
Yeah.
lot of different keys, right? But imagine there's a big door full of locks, and everyone has a different key. Maybe some group over here is really focused on motion, and creating these prompt to motion vehicles for animation. Some people are focused on lighting. Some people are focused on backgrounds,
Yeah.
taking 2D and making it 3D, right? But that's like a dozen subscription models. And, some people are kind of just saying, okay, I'll subscribe to this for a little bit. I'll subscribe to this. But, at any given time, they have 5 different subscriptions, and it's kind of
Yep.
tossing it.
Five.
Right.
Five is being generous.
Right. And now it's like, how do we uh, take all of these keys, put them together into one, and just give people kind of an all-in-one creative suite, that's B2B, that can really just be somewhere that is the first place they think of to go. Um,
Absolutely.
that's not behind the beta testing wall, that is open, and it can kind of be, I guess, the ChatGPT of this particular space. And it's a huge space that's going to continue to grow over the next 10 years, like between 2D animation, 3D, AR, VR, gaming. It's massive. And a lot of those
Absolutely.
folks are indie. Um, and and they're freelancers, and they want to be able to, make their work. And that's just the professional side. There's also a whole level of prosumers and just hobbyists that I think would really love something like this. So, I ended up coming together with a few friends who have done a lot of UX UI design at SoftBank Robotics, and a few other folks who've worked in the tech space, in AI, and have developed companies, and got them acquired, and folks that have just done a lot of mobile um, gaming, and done design for just different companies across the media entertainment space. And and then I just also brought in a lot of folks who were mentors of mine, who have been on the animation side, from Pixar to Fox to Hulu, and a lot of other places that I've just kind of gotten to know over the years. And thankfully, people thought this was a great idea. And so I started to build out of that kind of 100 folks that I've been talking with, who were professional grade um, creators. I ended up bringing them all on my team, and they, wanted to be the first folks to be on this kind of beta testing, exploratory phase of this, to really create a sidebar plugin that can integrate into their current creative workflows that they already have with Blender, Autodesk Maya, softwares like that, that can license with a lot of these startups that are
Yeah.
trying to already fix this problem, and just put them behind a really clear design that's easy to use, that talks back to the user, where you can be a serious professional who knows what they're doing, that might just be using this as an exploratory brainstorming tool, similar to how I originally started using ChatGPT. And have something that literally just talks back to you. That's like, okay, this, I already know your style, because this sidebar won't be scraping data um,
Right.
unethically. It'll be directly connected to your visual Bible and your designs that you're consenting to giving it. And it won't be sharing it with any other user, only you. So it knows your style, and it can say, well, I know you do this. How about this? And then you can basically use all these tools in one.
That's
um
awesome.
yeah,
It's basically my favorite business model: work smarter, not harder, right?
yes, yes,
And this definitely sounds like it will make that workflow, especially in this uh, genre or category, that I
exactly.
think is super important. And I think that's one of the, I say this all the time. It's one of my favorite part of tech. How do you go from the animation space and make it a tech company and make it, become a founder, do all of these things that you are living, that you are doing. Tell us what the future looks like for Sesh.
Sure. So Seshplus, over the next 5 years, we well before 5 years, within the next year or so, we're going to be developing our MVP, which is, that's, I like that you say the work smarter, not harder playbook, because we're already in conversation with a good amount of startups in the space. And if you're one of them, please reach out to us. We're looking to make deals. And we're going to continue to make those deals, and really expand what we're doing here in a big way. So within 6 months, we expect to have our MVP done. We're going to be releasing it to users, and making our first deals with enterprise clients as well. So within that year, we expect to get our first users, expand our customer base, really market this thing and get it out there, because there's a lot of people that are our competitors that, again, are not moving as quickly as I think that they could, because they want to really, I think, own the entire thing themselves, and just kind of build it from scratch. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to really have speed on our side, and to stay ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, because the thing with this is, we're going to continue to work with folks who are doing the most cutting edge stuff in this space. So if you're using Such Plus, you're going to be using the most technologically advanced innovation, because we're working with the best people. So, I think that's something that is going to keep us ahead in the years to come.
I wish we had like a million more hours to talk, because I feel like we could. There's so much to talk about. Is there any other notes or anything you'd like to say to anybody listening in the VC, angel, investor sector, or supporters? Anybody who has a bright idea or maybe the knowledge that your team might need? What are the best way to contact you?
Absolutely. So you can reach out to me at Ajani, AJANI, Amiri on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me at Amiri at seshplus.com. I love to get to know folks that are really trying to solve big problems, and we are certainly at an inflection point, I think, in the entertainment industry right
For
now.
sure.
So we need all the help that we can get, right? So I think as we try to solve this problem, anyone that has any ideas, please reach out to me. We're going to be doing our fundraising over the next few months into the fall, and we expect to have our first MVP to launch in Q1 of 2026. So it's coming up. So if you want to be a part of kind of this new age of entertainment, please reach out to me. And, I think this is a race that can be won by just kind of getting there first. And that's what we intend to do here. So if you're interested in that, please reach out, and I'd love to talk to you.
Johnny, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it and look forward to having you back on with the development of Seshplus. And we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jayla. Appreciate it.
And that was another episode of Check It Up with Café Cultura. Until next time, bye.